loss leaders. Hockey in this province is becoming an elite sport. We're seeing it now. The Dirty Dogs are struggling. The Predators will struggle. These are huge businesses. Minor hockey is struggling. You've got, especially in periods of recession, families cannot afford. I mean, the equipment is ridiculous. So they're almost becoming an elite sport now in terms of pleasure skating, everything else. Sure, no problem. But the cost of operating these things is huge. A splash pad, in terms of value for dollar, is actually really good. It really is. It provides, and especially if you tie it in with a themed area like a park or whatever, these are really sustainable recreational facilities. The BMX thing, especially for the older kid, you know, this is a problem that you have. Our society, a problem we've had in our society is we are reactive. And that's why you're seeing police budgets of $2.8 million, is because we don't think about kids, we don't think about families, we don't think about putting up sustainable recreation that will discourage a kid from maybe going off the wrong path. So I am absolutely 100% in favor of anything that enhances the life of a young family, and especially when it's sustainable and recreational. To me, it's money well spent. When you see communities where young kids are engaged, or teenagers are engaged, you're saving a ton of cash on property destruction.
Councillor Russell and Councillor Underwood.
I'm just going to throw this on the table. One of the things we see with, of course, the Arcona Splash Pad, you got Katie Brown, and I think like you mentioned a bunch of other sponsors type of things. I know with the group that I'm involved in, we're involved in all kinds of things like you're talking about. We work with the Klondike Park Pavilion, we work with different things, but it's in a partnership. So I'm just wondering, to lead to your, you make a good point. I'm not sure how good it is long term, but I think you make a good point about looking at the modeling. Okay. And I think the modeling we've used over the past number of years, if I'm correct, is the service club model. In terms of that's the point here about my problem with arenas is the fact that our master plan in 1989 said don't build a whole bunch of arenas anymore because of all the reasons. Doug just, Kevin, I think those words come right out of that master plan.
Big bucks, no whammies, right?
But I think what we have to do is we've got a recreation, you've got it sitting there, the recreation master plan talks to that issue, and I think it's having recreation that's affordable. It's having it and whatever. And we can make business unit decisions about how we operate the business units, and some of those issues come up. But what we can ask the staff to do is look at that modeling, maybe a contribution to a certain point of, you know, and then we will initiate it through the master planning process. For an example, if we have an opportunity like the Kate and Brown Foundation, that may be the threshold where it breaks over into the side of changing our priorities. But if you don't make that threshold and it's only a small contribution, it doesn't change our priorities. But I think that's the type of advice I'd like to get from John and his crew, because we could spend forever in a day, because there is a slippery slope. You're right, Elizabeth. I don't think we're on it. I think we haven't identified the needs until we got the recreation master plan in the correct manner. We were told by the consultants in the recreation master plans we got very little input from the children. Gee whiz, we don't have a lot of children come to meetings. Surprise anybody?
No, they don't pay taxes.
Jeez. But we did put it in, didn't we, Ruth? It's in there. She mentioned it earlier. So I think let's go to the ones that are affordable, and then we can take a look as the track record goes along through his advice and staff.
All of them have had tremendous buy-in.
Yes, excellent.
For us. Absolutely. The arenas have both had contributions from public. Councillor Underwood.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of build it and they will come, but we're not in that situation at all. It's people have come here for a long time and they're losing things over the years more and more and more, and people are starting to look around and say, why am I staying here? That's one of the reasons. In our recreation master plan, they're looking at splash pads, skateboard parks. We couldn't afford a skateboard park, so we went for something cheaper. I've got a hell of a lot of input from the area for the BMX park alone. And I never thought it would take so long to get a few piles of earth put in an area in the street, you know, whatever. You know, and now we're looking at modeling and what kind of models, and ideological models. And it's great if you're a conservative, and you want to have that somebody else pays for everything and I'll live here. Great. It doesn't work that way. People want certain things, and if we can afford to do it, we should just let them do it. If we can get partners, fantastic. But when you're talking about kids and trying to maintain and keep kids here, you can't just go to mom and dad who are working hard, or the retirees who really don't care that much. Some of them, I've met some. some who really would much rather be no children left in the forest. Got an email from them. And it's time for us to step up, and what we can do for fairly minimum expense, show people that we actually care about our communities and we're working towards trying to give the kids something to do.
Councillor Owen.
Well, I agree. I mean, we need to put money into recreation to attract and keep young families. They are here, not build it and they will come. The young families are here, number one. Number two, yes, build it and they will come and more will come. And we will attract more young families to the community. Just a couple of comments though. Every major recreation project in this municipality has occurred because we've had great partnerships. The partnerships of the foundations, the partnerships of the service clubs, and the list is as long as your arm. The major ones, the beach enhancement, of course, and the two major, not rinks. We haven't built rinks in the community. We've built two multi-purpose recreational facilities. I would argue at anyone who says we don't have a lot of things for kids now, we need more. I absolutely agree. But there's lots of things that are going on right now. We have a lot of groups that are taking advantage of the new facilities that we have. I think about the ball hockey and the young lad that's getting that going because he saw that there was a need and is going to get a huge ball hockey organization going. So I mean, there's lots of opportunities and lots of things for kids. So we're going in circles here, but the model is there. That's how, and the opportunity is here certainly for Arcona because the dollars are ready to go.
Deputy Mayor Day.
I suppose the question we have to ask ourselves is how much of our budget are we willing to spend on an annual basis for maintaining recreational services, right? So if we currently spend about, I don't know, close to $1 million, once you do legacy centers and all the other things, of a $9 million budget, we're spending over 10% on recreational services, right? So then you have to say, are we, you know, what is our offset limit? I think I'd feel more comfortable if we said, okay, when we reach this point, we're not going to spend any more. But it seems to me as though it's kind of a never ending. Keep adding, and then it will never end. So I like all the bells and whistles and the perks and all of that. Yes, and I think $20,000 for a BMX park is really minuscule in light of
I don't think
a lot of
we're
the other,
spending.
or I think it's a very reasonable amount in light of some other expenses that we've been given. But I just think that it's the little foxes that spoil the vine. So we have to say, where do we stop?
Councillor Russell.
I think you're correct, and I'll just give you a little historical, and I hate to do this, but I will. In 1986, I think it was, Carol, correct me if I'm wrong, in 1987, we got a letter from the Ministry of Municipal Affairs that have standards about how much you spend on certain things within your sphere of things. John, I don't know if those standards still exist. They do it in the guiding sense. And at that point, Bedford went to 53% of their budget on recreation, and they were put on the watch list. So you make a very valid point, but we're at 10%. We're nowhere near the 53%.
Well, I
John,
don't know
am I
what it
correct?
is. I mean, it's over.
But there is sort of a standard that because you have to keep the standard infrastructure things in place. So you're correct, but we're not close to it. So
What was the crime rate when it went to 53%?
I have no
That's
idea.
a zero.
Crime rate was different 20 years ago all over, so.
Oh, was that higher? Well, much higher than it is now. Well, it keeps going down, down, down. Don't read the conservative stuff. It's going down all the time. That's because we have better detection.
Respect.
Yeah, the crowd, yeah.
Councillor Cook.
Are we doing motions on these, or are we just gonna wait till the end?
Let's just do a motion.
Okay.
This would be
I'll make a
the
motion
motion.
to approve the splash pad.
Second.
Right.
All in favor? Carried. Opposed? Carried. Opposed?
And we don't have enough information. I'm abstaining because I don't think we have enough information.
Carried.
BMX track.
Second. There you go.
Going to
All in favor? Opposed?
There you go.
Carried. Yeah, are we approving them or are we approving them putting in the budget?
We're approving putting them in the budget that staff are going to work on.
Right.
Very well.
These
I
are-
make a motion that we approve the BMX